Test, test. Okay, it is 5:30, so the Norfolk Public School District's Board of Education meeting is called to order. We'll begin with roll call.
Terry Bauer. Cindy Booth.
Present.
Brenda Carhart.
Present.
Lindsay Dixon.
Present.
Beth Shashikant.
Present.
Sandy Wolf.
Present.
All members are present. We do have a quorum.
Thank you, Dr. Thompson. This is a legal meeting of the Board of Education as advertised by the means specified in board policy. A complete copy of the Open Meetings Act is posted in the boardroom for your review. A copy of the agenda is available at the desk of the recording secretary. Please stand and join us in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. We are going to begin with the presentations, special recognition, and focus on the students. Focus on the students is Mr. Hughes, principal of Norfolk Middle School.
So entering the room now is our middle school character congress. These are some of our top students as far as they are involved in our community. They're involved in our school. They're good leaders. And what they're going to do is they lead our character ed assemblies every month that we have at the middle school. We pick a new character trait and we talk about it. We honor our students of the month. We honor some of our students that have been nominated for our Be Outstanding wall. And what these guys are going to do is they're going to introduce themselves and they're going to tell you a little bit about our Character Congress. And our Character Congress is led by our two counselors, Mrs. Bloomquist and Mrs. Kleintobe.
Hello, my name is Kinley Honsick.
My name is Grayson Weaveman.
I am Caitlin Detterman.
My name is Amy Solorio.
My name is Hayden Larson.
My name is JC Connett.
My name is Kinley Hannah.
My name is Leighton Kanapasic.
My name is Gracelyn Hazelton.
My name's Emmy French.
My name's Annabelle Furman.
And I'm Mrs. Kleintobe.
And Mrs. Bloomquist.
The Norfolk Middle School Character Congress is an organized group of student leaders who represent the student body. Being part of this group is a way to establish leadership, be a positive role model, and come up with innovative ideas to promote our character ed traits.
The middle school has always had character ed assemblies, but in the past they were counselor-led. After Mrs. Bloomquist and Mrs. Kleintobe attended a statewide school counselor conference, they went to a breakout session that talked about promoting character traits within a school. Together, they created a student-led group at the middle school to lead our assemblies, giving students the opportunity to have a leadership role in our school.
In January, the application process begins. Any student that is interested in becoming a Character Congress leader needs to fill out an application. The application includes individual questions on how we demonstrate good leadership skills and a teacher recommendation form. Then a committee reviews the applications and selects 10 to 12 students to represent the middle school Character Congress group.
Each month we have a character ed assembly that focuses on a specific character trait. Those traits include respect, responsibility, caring, trust, fairness, perseverance, courage, empathy, and citizenship.
Throughout the month, teachers display a poster highlighting that month's trait in their classroom and show a video discussing the trait. At each assembly, there's a speaker, entertainment, minute to win it game, and student of the month awards.
The speakers include leaders from our community or surrounding area that volunteer their time to come talk to the student body about that month's character trait.
Each assembly also includes entertainment for our students. Some of the past entertainment includes Northeast Community College volleyball, men's basketball, and baseball teams, Norfolk High's Pink Panthers, cheerleaders, and volleyball team, Real Reptiles,
a comfort dog, taekwondo, and the Nebraska State Patrol. Here is a testimonial video that shows the impact of our assemblies.
Everyone kept on screaming LeBron James. He just kept on doing tomahawks, alley-oop finishers. He's my favorite. He literally gave me handshakes everywhere. I'm so happy. I'm just so happy.
Let me see your sweatshirt. Had a college kid sign your brand new Nike sweatshirt.
I don't even care. And that's literally incredible. I've never had that happen to me in my entire life. It's so crazy. I'm just so happy right now. Oh.
Maybe someday you can do that for another kid.
Exactly. That's why I'm excited when I grow up.
Each month we recognize students of the month. Classroom specials and special education teachers choose students to recognize. A student can only be recognized once throughout the school year. Each nomination receives a certificate and a Culver's coupon. A letter is also sent home to their parents, and their name is displayed on the outside marquee.
During each assembly, we also have a minute to win it competition. One 5th grade participant and one 6th grade participant is chosen from our Be Outstanding wall displayed in the media center. Any staff member may give a student a Be Outstanding set for displaying good behavior.
Now, we'd like to challenge all of you to a minute to win it game. Today's game is called Tower Stackers. Each participant must stack all 10 nuts in a tower using one chopstick. You may only use one hand and can only stack one nut at a time.
And I will give you a hint, you don't stack them the way you would think that you would stack them. Did you give yours already? Okay, good job. Just wait now? Yes. Wait till they get all their stuff out. Do you guys want to go behind them? Go behind them. Do you guys want to go behind them and spread out? Yep. I just told them to spread out behind them. Okay, are we ready, contestants? Yep, one hand, and you can only stack one at a time. Can somebody press the video? No.
The game begins in 3, 2, 1.
Remember, you can only stack one nut at a time. Good job, contestants. And if anybody has, you guys want to take it around. If anybody has any great ideas for speakers or entertainment, shoot them our way. We're always looking for people that we could bring in and talk to our middle schoolers.
Is that it, Mr. Hughes? It was so awesome. Thank you. This is our favorite part of the meeting. Favorite part, to see our kiddos in action. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming too. Okay, Mary, top that. Okay, next up, 4.2, our strategic action plan update. Mrs. Lure.
Thank you. I'm going to face you guys. So the strategic action plan, the goal 3 was communications. So I have a team of people here to help present with me. Mr. Hughes was my co-chair. So you can get closer because we only have one microphone. But I'll share the goal and then some highlights, and then we'll go into details of what our action plans are, okay? So our goal 3 is by 2025, NPS will develop a comprehensive communications plan to engage internal and external stakeholders. Here's our team that we have. If you were on the team and you are here, would you mind standing up, please? So yeah, we have a pretty good turnout tonight. A lot of people emailed me saying that they couldn't come. But so we did have a wide variety of participants with students, principals, teachers, parents, our interpreter, our students information system coordinator was there, our communications director was obviously there, lots of participation, good meeting turnouts. Thanks. So we had 2 objectives that we came up with from the goal. Strategic objective 1 was engage stakeholders by actively promoting district endeavors and accomplishments to alumni, community members, staff, students, and their families. The second objective is to engage stakeholders by developing formal and informal educational opportunities related to district policies, operations, and communications. Thank you. So the first objective.
We want to engage stakeholders by actively promoting district endeavors and accomplishments to alumni, community members, staff, students, and their families. The biggest thing that we talked about is getting volunteers from our leadership teams in the building. As you saw with the middle school, we've got a character congress. A lot of buildings have a student council, but we also want to make sure that we're getting representation from every demographic. So that's kind of the big piece with this one.
The other 3 pieces are to establish the media channel for each building to practices across the district. Yep. Oh, that's right. Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Establish media channel for each building and practices across the district. Evaluate options to involve students in creation and production of media to promote the district, and create and maintain and manage an alumni network. So those are our 5 action steps of the first objective. So then Mr. Hughes will tell you about the first 2 action steps.
Yep, and that's kind of what we just alluded to, is getting that student voice. We've got a lot of students in our building that, you know what, we need to listen to them and hear what they want to tell us. And so as we go through it, we're talking about getting those leadership teams in every building, from the elementaries all the way up to the high school. And I think a lot of us have those in play, but we can definitely look at it and make it better. So that's kind of what we're looking at with those.
Right. So the like his example of his character tonight is a student-led leadership group within where students can volunteer, sign up, things like that. The second step, if you would hit that, please, Mr., is more of the student voice, where we would ask the building administrators and teachers to hold meetings quarterly or at least once a semester, where all students are welcome to come and share their thoughts about how things are going in school, what they want to see change or improve, or just share their ideas.
Yep, and this is kind of piggybacked off something Dr. Thompson started a few years ago. She would have some of our teachers come in on a volunteer basis, kind of get the pulse of the building, get the pulse of the district, and see what the needs were, and make adjustments and action plans if needed. And like I said earlier, our students are very important to us because we want to do what's best for students, and it's important that we hear their voice.
I do have to point out, the students that we had on this team, I asked once if we could put those two action plans together, and they said no, they're 2 separate things. The one is for the students who want to volunteer to be a leader within the building and be more active on a regular basis, but to not shut out the other voices that may not want to be that involved, but do want to have a voice at the table. So they had the students that we had on our team were really, really amazing. And the one that was going to present tonight, unfortunately, had something come up. So go ahead, step 3. This one I'm going to let, we established a media channel, so social media, newspaper, TV, radio, website, etc. Like those things we already have available. So when you look at, for consistent output of what we're doing within our district. And we have social media, newspaper, TV, radio, all those things. But then we thought we'd take it one step further and put one person in charge that each building is making sure they're presenting their, like, because you see, we have buildings that put more on social media than other buildings. Skill sets of what people can do and cannot do. I would be one of those non-skill sets. So we did a pilot this summer with Class Intercom, and so I'm going to let Tiffany and Mickey talk about what that looked like.
Yes, so Chris kind of started this with us as he was kind of helping out with communications prior to me joining. Class Intercom is a program where we can have our social media profiles all together. I can make one post and it will go out to all different channels. It's extremely accessible, easy to use, and it just feels like there's an app on your phone so you can get it out quickly if you're at a school event.
The advantage of using Class Intercom, as Tiffany said, is the fact that we can make one post and it goes to multiple channels. So since Tiffany has come on as our full-time communications director, we've actually been able to add an additional social media channel. We're now on Instagram, so check us out on the gram. And we are using Class Intercom. Another advantage of Class Intercom is that we don't have to share the credentials to Facebook, to Twitter, to Instagram, and Tiffany and I can post. Mary has rights to post. Chris Begeman has rights to post. And so we have a lot of people working at this now because we have the ease of this platform.
Yeah. So the next step of that is that we would look down the line of involving students to help present on social media in a public forum. So I'll let Mickey build more on what we would do that's further down the line.
Yeah, so this is down the line, but Class Intercom is a great platform because it allows us to have a moderation piece. So students can be creating content for each of those different platforms, but it doesn't go live until it's moderated by an adult. And so that's why we really liked Class Intercom. In addition, Class Intercom is a Nebraska-based business. And so we're supporting and growing our own by using Class Intercom.
Okay, and then this last one, this one's kind of a bigger task with create, maintain, and manage an alumni network. There's a passion for our alumni to be a part of what's going on within the district, and then to be able to brag about our alumni who have moved on and what are you doing out there? What job do you have? Where do you live? Those kinds of things. So we want to create a database of alumni and then keep it updated so that we can continue to celebrate NPS graduates and that's right, NPS graduates. I was like, there's another word and I'm missing it. But we're going to build that communication plan with the graduates and some local businesses that have shown interest in wanting to help us with that. But that one's going to be a while until the spring of 2026 for us to create that database. We've also worked with Austin Truex is on this committee with us. He joined us this year, so I won't put him on the spot right now. But Callan was on with us before. We thought maybe we could collaborate with the foundation after we get the database to help promote that as well. Okay, next. Objective number 2 was to engage stakeholders by developing formal and informal educational opportunities related to district policies, operations, and communications. So the action steps of that, we have 4. Develop a parent and family training for district use communication tools and ensure all families are connected. Develop a plan for community communication for school policies and procedures. Conduct an audit of district website and determine if district app is needed. And continue with scheduled staff communication. So the first one, is this where I asked you to help me, Brant? No, the next one? Darn. Okay, so I'll keep going. Oh, did you? Hi, Brant. Brant was going to talk more about why he thought it was important for the alumni, and I talked right over it. Brant was one of our parents. I apologize, Brant. Thanks for being here. So this one, so at the beginning of the year, this is Chris's, isn't it? Come on up, Chris. See?
So one of the things last spring, we did a survey of parents to find out what methods parents wanted to be communicated with, like phone, text message, and so forth. And a lot of the parents wanted to focus on like phone contact, text message, and so forth, email. And one of the areas we wanted to make sure is that all that information is updated because parents change phone numbers, they change email addresses. And so we just put together some simple training materials to make sure that parents are aware how they can change that information so that they have access to the Infinite Campus so that they can make sure that all their information is current and up to date, because a lot of times as somebody who sends out messages as a teacher, I get lots of them bounced back or it says it won't go to them. So we just put together just a little handout for the beginning of the year to kind of try things out this year. To give them some resources, some tools so that parents could have access to that information when they came in and met their teachers and picked up schedules. And I think it went pretty well.
Next one, please. Okay, so then also today is the first day that we're doing part of what we want to do with making sharing communication with school policies and procedures. We have these study sessions every month for the board, but we have never been in a public forum like this before. So we're the guinea pigs, and we are trying, so we think that we can start doing that to keep the information as people view from home about the things that we're working on for our strategic action plans and other things that we have implemented throughout the district. Printed materials would be a resource that we need. And then looking at cost of a newsletter or printing costs for that to keep that going, like if we had things available here. Next one. This one, we had a big discussion about our website. It is a great website and has lots and lots and lots of information within it. But people wanted us to, that this team actually talked about what else could we do to get more information out there and how do we do that. And accessibility. Thanks, Eric. So one of the things we want to do is do an audit of what our current website does, and if we can look at, because one of the things we talked about was maybe an app on your phone. Other districts are using those. What would the cost be on that? But we need to do a bigger dive into that. So that's why it's by this spring, I hope to come back to this team, to the Board of Education, and say, here's what we found out about cost if we were to look at a different website or a mobile app to help promote, because sometimes feedback for us right now, we have to, it's not as easy to manipulate our website on your phone as it is on a computer or a laptop. So that's what we're going to look at as well. And then continued with scheduled staff communication. So agendas, newsletter, meeting notes. Whenever we have a meeting, things are sent out to the teachers, the building, all staff within the building. Board reports are given the day after. Like tomorrow, Dr. Thompson will send out another newsletter updating everybody that wasn't here. We have administrative meetings. Whenever you have a team meeting, information is sent out to those who weren't there, updates, things like that. We're going to continue to do those kinds of things as well. And then here's some just new pictures that we've been putting out on social media with our class intercom. You just leave it there because it's cute. Any questions?
I don't have a question, but I have noticed recently, the last few weeks, month or so, what an improvement in the social media postings, and I love seeing all the great things that are happening. You know, it's on the NPS website or on the NPS Facebook page, and then the different elementary schools. I think it's great seeing all that out there.
Yeah, Tiffany's doing a great job.
So later tonight, this is an agenda item for the board to approve the Communication Strategic Action Planning Committee. So if you have any questions, we really need to go through those while everyone is here. You have the option of approving it, and then we would move forward with putting those steps in place. You could choose to send it back to the committee if you feel like they're missing something, they need to add something or make some changes, or if you just feel like you need more information, it could be postponed. Question that I want to clarify is cost, because that's something that the board would be interested in, I'm sure. Class intercom is definitely a cost. Right now, we're paying for that for the district, and that's it, just the district. So as we add individual schools, that will be $350 per school. Right. And the plan is to start at the high school, see how it goes. Once that's going very smoothly, then move to the junior high, middle school. And they assure me that it can be done at the elementary level. I'm still a little skeptical, but if we go in that order, hey, I'm fine with it.
Right, but we would give the
so-
principals just so that they can quickly share it with central office, so we can get it out on the district web page.
So that would be a cost. A second cost would be if we decide we need to change our website and or purchase an app, but that's not a guaranteed thing. They're doing an audit first to decide whether that's needed or not, and that would probably be expensive enough. It would come back to the board for second approval, but I'm not sure, it depends. And then the third thing that I wrote down as I was going through it is the newsletter. But that would probably only be a cost if we do print newsletters. If we decide to go electronic, we already have Constant Contact, where you can send out a link or a QR code and people can sign up to get the newsletter. So anybody in the community could sign up to get it, but if they don't want it, we're not bombarding them with information they don't want. Am I missing cost?
We don't know if the database, what that would, if there would be an additional cost to build that, or
Oh, for the alumni.
for the alumni.
Is that $350 a yearly fee?
Yes.
Can you explain that a little better than why each building you have to pay separately rather than kind of one fee for the district that all the schools are then under? How does that work exactly?
He's gonna come because she had the better conversations.
So when you work with Class Intercom, they have one price to set up everything at the district level. And then if we were to add the senior high, we would be adding their social media channels, which is an additional fee to set that up within Class Intercom. And $350 per school is really an economical value for what you get out of this product. So that's why it's an additional cost. So each building would be charged $350 for their Class Intercom service.
So right now, if I understand it, the district has it, so the district can make a post and shoot it out to like the other buildings
No.
channel? No.
No, we can only go to our district channels. So our district Facebook, district Twitter, and district Instagram. And that's the additional fee, is that we would set up the senior high Facebook and the senior high Instagram, so that when they post, those posts would go to those channels.
Okay, so just a question. I have an Instagram account and it automatically posts to my Facebook. So why is this different?
This is different because it's allowing us to set up those posts and not have to make those separate connections within the different platforms. Facebook and Instagram talk to each other because they're Meta, they're owned by the same company. But in order to add additional channels like Twitter, we would need the Class Intercom interface in order to do that. Does that help?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions about the Class Intercom connection?
Would the moderator piece of the nothing gets posted, like when we move to the student part of it, nothing will get posted without it going through an adult first? Or any of us posting it, there's only a few of us that can clear it right now at the district level. Other questions?
So my question is, there are some costs that you don't know that you've mentioned. So if we, that you said you weren't sure yet, so that they would come back to the board. If we vote for this to continue on this plan, I mean, that's not giving you a permission to just spend whatever you want, whenever you want. Is that kind of what I was getting from you?
It would follow our normal purchasing procedures, so if it was under the amount for board approval, I would still be able to move forward with purchasing that. But if it was above that board approval amount, we would need to bring it back here for
Okay.
your approval. Probably just the website application thing would be the only one that could be that expensive.
Thank you.
I have a question for Dr. Thompson. I was on the strategic plan when we set these goals, and we approved our strategic plan, so what are we really approving now? Is it just the ability to spend money? I don't understand what we're approving.
The specific steps. So all you approved the first time is the goal, that we were gonna have a goal to address communications with internal and external stakeholders. Now we're telling you, these are the things that we're committed to doing in order to meet that goal. And then in a year from now, relatively, a year or so, they would come back and give you a report to say which one of those action steps they've completed, how much progress they're making on the goal.
Any other questions? Well, I'd like to thank you guys as an audience, and I'd like to thank the team for showing up tonight and helping me present. And again, Brent, I apologize.
Still come say a few words. Brent, you want to come up? Okay, thank you, Mary and team. Okay, we are to 4.3, which is the Norfolk Public Schools Foundation. Would Mr. Truax please come forward?
Mary didn't want to put me on the spot, but yet here I am. I don't have a minute to win it, but I do have a 5 minute to win it if someone else wants to present this for me. No? Okay. So thank you for allowing me a few moments this evening to provide our annual update regarding the work of the Norfolk Public Schools Foundation. To begin, I'd like to provide some background on the foundation and our goals. Our mission is to enhance and encourage learning opportunities for the students of Norfolk Public Schools. Our vision is that every student at NPS has the opportunity to reach their full potential. Our mission and vision guide all that the foundation does, as we work to provide each student with additional resources and support, allowing them to excel both while attending NPS and after graduation, as demonstrated by these scholarship recipients. The Norfolk Public Schools Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit organization which operates adjacent to the school system. Our funds and work are designed to support the ongoing educational efforts of the district and provide opportunities that traditional school funding may not always be able to offer. These include a variety of programs, including the distribution of Thanksgiving meals alongside Midwest Bank and Tyson Foods to students and their families in need of some support around the holiday. The Foundation's day-to-day operations are overseen by myself as Executive Director. However, we are governed by a Board of Directors. Presently, the Foundation's board has 16 members, held by Metka Colm as President, Jason Bush as Vice President, Brenda Carhart as Treasurer, and April Pearson as Secretary. Dr. Thompson serves as a non-voting ex-officio member of the board. I want to thank all the Foundation board members for their dedication to our mission and for the generous volunteer efforts which keep everything running smoothly. Furthermore, the Foundation would not exist without the amazing support of donors throughout the community. Former NPS staff, current NPS staff, NPS alumni, businesses, nonprofit groups, and so many others make everything that the Foundation does possible. We appreciate and recognize those contributions to the future of NPS and its students. The Foundation runs a few programs to support NPS students. Our classroom grants allow teachers to apply for funds that enhance an educational activity in their classroom, like this sunflower garden, engaging students in meaningful ways. Designated donations that the Foundation receives go towards specific causes or programs within the school district, such as the grant-funded Aftershock Entrepreneurship Club. These middle school students started their own businesses and set up booths for the Downtown Norfolk Holiday Festival last year to sell their products. Scholarships are one of the biggest ways that the foundation supports NPS grads. Through the generosity of donors within the community and beyond, the foundation is able to distribute financial aid to a number of deserving students, recognizing their hard work while at Norfolk Public Schools. Beyond thousands of dollars in designated and in-kind donations, the Norfolk Public Schools Foundation distributed 64 scholarships to the graduating class of 2023. These excellent seniors were awarded over $77,000 in scholarships through the foundation as part of our dedication to supporting NPS students beyond their time in the district. Our classroom grant program distributed nearly $21,000 to teachers for the 2023-24 school year. We're very excited to see 37 different classroom grant projects in action throughout the district, including a ukulele center at Bel Air Elementary School. I wish I could have had one of those when I was in first grade. I would even use one now. These two programs, our classroom grants and scholarships, work together very well. Classroom grants help to elevate the already excellent education happening at Norfolk Public Schools, preparing students for their future jobs or college. These enhancements give our students an advantage as they grow up. When they graduate, the Foundation's scholarships enable students to pursue their future goals in college. The Foundation ultimately wants to help students have the best opportunities possible while attending NPS and after. Finally, I want to personally invite the Board of Education to attend the Norfolk Public School Foundation's Traditions Breakfast on Thursday, October 26th from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. at the Lifelong Learning Center. We are very excited to highlight the awesome projects and results that have come about within the school district recently because of the support the community provides through the foundation. Again, thank you for your time this evening. The Norfolk Public Schools Foundation is very proud to be an active partner in benefiting the students of NPS, and we appreciate the support of both the Board of Education and the community as a whole. I would be happy to answer any questions you may have now. What's that? Yeah, no dance number, I lied. Thank you.
Thank you, Austin. Yep.
You'll receive those in the mail.
Thank you. Okay, we are to the public comments and communication. This is the time during the meeting when the public may request to address the board. According to state law, if you wish to comment, you must identify yourself, including your address, the name of the organization you represent, and the topic that you wish to address. Public comment cards are located at the media table in the back of the room. Please pick up a card and provide the required information. If you plan to speak, each individual's comments will be limited to 5 minutes. Please note that the board cannot discuss or act upon matters that are not listed on the agenda. Therefore, board members will not respond to your comments or questions. If you wish to request that an item be placed on a future board agenda, you may contact the superintendent or her assistant during normal business hours. Also note that concerns related to school personnel need to be addressed to the superintendent using the approved district protocol. Individuals who make false, defamatory, or slanderous statements during public comments may be held legally liable. Slanderous comments are not protected just because they are made at board meetings. Is there anybody that would like to speak?
Good evening. My name is Beth Pleshak, and I have a child currently in the NPS district, and I live right outside of Hoskins, Nebraska. I just wanted to, I know that there's a group right now that is concerned about transparency and concerned about how our staff is doing at NPS. And I work within the worlds of public schools all the time. I cover 22 counties for my day job, and I see hundreds of schools. I last year attended 157 IEP meetings. This year I have attended 67 and attended local SEAC meeting and presented at that SEAC meeting to provide education at the state level. And I would like the board to know what a wonderful job Jamie Jo Thompson and her executive team is doing at MPS. They are very transparent. I am seen sometimes at central office visiting and talking and working through things to be a community partner and a community leader. But she goes above that. She really truly cares about our students. She actively wants the best thing for every student, no matter what their learning level is. And I primarily work with students with disabilities or different abilities. I know I've had conversations with Eric Wilson and Angie Bowman and Mary and Beth. We all work together as a great team, and I know that it is out there that the teachers' contracts are coming due, and Jamie Jo's review is coming through. But I want you to know from my standpoint, and I see a lot of school districts, and I work with a lot of administrations teams, and we have some of the best. And if we continue to set and point out every single person's flaws, we won't have the best here, and our students deserve the best so that they can get the education that they deserve. So that's all I wanted you to know from my point of view, since I travel and see everybody. I wanted you to know that.
Thank you, Beth.
My name is Amber Peterson. I am a Norfolk High grad. My children attend Norfolk Public Schools, and I'm a teacher at Norfolk Middle School. And saying that, first I'd like to say that I'm relieved that the board has passed a budget that includes the addition of the middle school with those changes to the budget that were done. Renovating the middle school and updating our building to include a safe and secure entrance is necessary to the safety of our students and staff, and is necessary to the peace of mind of our community. I would like to encourage you to keep that in mind as you take action to seek bids for construction. Remembering that although this project, of course, will be costly, it is not going to become cheaper by waiting. Construction costs will continue to rise, as they always do. While you have a duty to make sure our taxpayer money is spent responsibly, you also have a duty to those same taxpayers to ensure that their children are physically safe in their school buildings. If you're doubting the necessity of this project, I would invite you to come to my school tomorrow between 11:15 and 12:45 and notice that our front door opens directly into our commons area where 200 or more students are eating their lunch. We also have a bathroom that doesn't work right now. The building is old and needs updates. Secondly, I would like to comment on target-based grading, as there seems to be some confusion about the purpose of target-based grading and how it works in classrooms. This is not a system of unlimited redos. Target-based grades hold students accountable for their learning and help teachers ensure students are leaving their classrooms prepared for the next level. A board member commented at a previous meeting that our job is to get kids ready to enter the workforce and that we shouldn't lower the bar. I agree. I would argue that target-based grades look a lot more like the real world and a lot like the workplace, more like the workplace than giving a kid a 70% and telling them to move on. I'm going to give you an example. One of my first jobs when I was a teenager was working as a hostess at Bailey's Bistro when it was still at Norfolk Country Inn, and I know some of you might remember the owner, Al Franklin. During my first week of work, he taught me how to run the cash register and take reservations and fold napkins, which I can still do exactly how he taught me. After a few days of training, I was on my own. I had my first chance to close the cash register on my own, and I couldn't get it to balance. I'd made a mistake. Al didn't tell me that I had earned a 50% and sent me home. He took the time to help me find my mistake, and he re-taught me how to balance the cash drawer. The next night, I was able to do it on my own. I didn't meet my learning target the first time, so he helped me practice and made sure I was successful. This is what a good employer does, and I'm sure you can think of stories from your own lives, either as an employer or employee, where this has been the case. This is what good teachers do as well. Target-based grading allows me to do this in my own classroom. It allows me to assess students' progress and hold them accountable for their learning targets. As I said, I teach fifth grade. A fifth grade math target my students are going to be working on here shortly is adding and subtracting numbers with decimals. I think we could all agree that this is an extremely important life skill. Money is a number with a decimal. When are we not using numbers with decimals? It's pretty important. At the end of this month, I'll spend several lessons teaching students this skill. Some of them are gonna get it right away and some need more practice. At the end of the unit, I'm gonna give a summative assessment, a test. And if a student doesn't show proficiency, that's when I get to work again, helping them practice more, pulling more out of my teacher toolbox and ensuring the student understands the concept. When they're ready, I can give them the assessment again and update the report card to show that they are proficient in this essential skill, even if it took one more try. Target-based grades are the best way to hold students accountable for their learning, and the district has spent several years working to incorporate this research-based assessment system. If you have questions, I urge you to reach out to teachers and ask us. Several board members talk about the teachers they've talked to. I urge you to talk to a few more. MPS has a highly educated and experienced faculty.
Thank you, Amber. Is there anybody else that would like to speak tonight?
Thank you. Jennifer Ibbenson, 1302 Hillview Drive. I have a couple of topics I wanted to touch on this evening. The first is that last week across the country, we celebrated Banned Books Week because, as the American Library Association has asserted for more than 70 years, the freedom to read is essential to our democracy. Of great concern, however, is a widespread national political initiative to instill fear in ordinary Americans and suppress ideas in an effort toward conformity. There's been a sharp increase recently in the recorded number of attempts to ban or restrict library materials across the U.S. Last year, 1,269 attempts were recorded compared to 156 in 2020. Although people may argue they are looking out for the best interest of impressionable young people, it is not difficult to see these actions are actually rooted in bigotry. Most challenges are brought against books by and about members of the LGBTQ+ community and people of color. Unfortunately, these pressures threaten not only the restrictions we see happening out in the open, but also encourage what is called quiet or soft censorship, the failure to provide access to or the removal of materials that individuals believe may come under attack. Although it might feel safer to bend to the will of those few people who would seek to limit access to information and ideas, censorship in all its forms denies more than access to a particular title. It denies the freedom to choose and to think for ourselves. When it comes to books and other materials available in educational settings, we should trust trained professionals to determine appropriate reading levels, while ensuring every student has the opportunity to see themselves reflected in the books they read and the opportunity to learn about people and places who are different from what is familiar to them. In these ways, we support the healthy growth and development of young readers. Community members or parents who oppose specific titles are welcome to address their concerns with their own children, but they must not be allowed to restrict the options available to others. Even if attempts to ban or challenge books are well-intentioned, the outcome is detrimental. I want to thank our educators and especially the English teachers who do their best to make sure every student has access to the materials they need and want to read. It can be difficult to stand for what is right, especially when we have a few closed-minded people in our community who speak loudly against inclusion. But I assure you, research findings indicate that a vast majority of community members, parents, and students support the freedom to read. The second topic I want to talk about tonight is Beth Nelson. I want to thank you for your years of service as Director of Teaching and Learning, and I'm particularly grateful for the work you've done in moving us toward target-based teaching, learning, and assessment. Target-based grading, that you've heard a little bit about already, is a change to traditional grading that places the focus on the specific skills and knowledge that students need to be successful. By focusing on specific priority targets, artificial grade inflators are removed, and the focus is on that essential learning. target-based grading is one of the best equalizers available in education, and it is a key to ensuring educational equity within our schools. This research-based initiative has been successfully adopted in the elementary schools, and our younger students are benefiting from it. Unfortunately, implementation for the upper grades in the larger buildings has been slowed down by a handful of parents who complained about removing grades for homework and completion. Make no mistake, this is an issue of privilege. Certain parents want their children to be rewarded for being, quote, good students, whether or not they can demonstrate having gained the skills and knowledge necessary for success moving forward. The case for grading homework has been sold as holding kids accountable, an argument that may sound familiar as it was used against changing the tardy and absence policy at the high school recently, without acknowledging that that's an advocacy for policies that benefit certain students over others. As both a parent and a teacher, I can tell you that target-based grading provides a higher quality understanding of what students have learned and what they have yet to learn, which can and should guide their education. It's important that we recognize the work that Beth Nelson and others have done, and that we continue to update the ways we instruct and assess student learning to ensure each student has the key skills and understandings necessary for their next steps. And this is how we can best prepare all students to pursue their goals for the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Angie Bailey, and I live in Norfolk. I'd like to share a few comments about some of Dr. Thompson's achievements over the past several years. First, Dr. Thompson has led several community-wide strategic planning initiatives for Norfolk Public Schools, which resulted in a new mission, vision, motto, and goals for the district, a new early learning facility, safer and more secure schools, and improved educational practices. Additionally, Dr. Thompson also developed an elementary growth plan to systematically address growing enrollments in an equitable fashion, and she spearheaded the expansion of the NHS Career Academies. Additionally, in an unprecedented pandemic, she led the district safely through with minimal losses of instructional time. This led to Dr. Thompson being selected as the Daily News' Person of the Year in 2020. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Angie. Is there anyone else that would like to come speak? That was great. Lots of great positive things. Okay, we are to information and discussion items. 6.1 is finance and facility report. You get to grab this one, Dr. Thompson.
Thank you, Madam President. The total amount of approved on the consent agenda for the month of October 2023 by specific fund are listed below. General Fund, $903,340.32. Nutrition Services Fund, $276,206.20. Cooperative Fund, $5,023.93. Depreciation Fund, $4,506.25. QC Puff, $2,400. Special Building Fund, $52,806.38. Student Fee Fund, $8,859.16. The total amount of claims for the month of September 2023 in the Activities Fund is $252,259.15. All of these claims were reviewed earlier today by the Finance and Facility Committee. I would be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Dr. Thompson. 6.2, Teaching and Learning Report. Mrs. Nelson.
Thank you, Madam President. As we approach the end of the first quarter, we've had several groups meet and work on curriculum. Those include middle school social studies, junior high ELA, junior high science, junior high PE health, elementary science, and elementary writing. Curriculum is an ongoing process, and we cycle through those things each through each subject, some more heavily some years and some less other years. Another item that is ongoing with the Teaching and Learning Department is following up with the new teachers to support them with their classroom responsibility and preparing for parent-teacher conferences. Today, in fact, was the second and I believe final day where our new teachers came back in with the teaching and learning team to just revisit how things are going in their classroom, give them some additional strategies, hone in on our instructional model, and give them opportunities to collaborate and ask questions. The spring 2023 statewide data has been shared with individual reports. Parents can expect those to come home at parent-teacher conference time. We've been notified that the tentative date for the AQuest State Accountability Report for schools will be coming out in the November or December timeframe. Our local fall assessment window is closed, and we will be generating reports on that data to determine if there are any curricular items need immediate attention or to use our data meetings for our student progress. DIBS for Kids is a literacy nonprofit organization. This was presented to you in a prior meeting, but that program has been important. As a reminder, the organization operates underneath the belief that every student should have a great book to read at home every night, regardless of family income. It is a classroom-based library that supports teachers in easily sending home books with students. The program was first established at Washington and spearheaded by the Title I teacher at the time, the late Mrs. Rhonda Sponnell. Since then, we've grown into the first and second grade elementary classrooms. Recent donations from the Day Foundation will allow the expansion of the program to every third and fourth grade classroom in the district. As of September 20th, 7,724 books have been taken home since the beginning of this school year. The most popular books so far this year have been Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus, Giraffes Can't Dance, The Pigeon Needs a Bath, How Do Dinosaurs Learn to Read, and Meet the Big Cats. All sets include some Spanish books, and other languages are available upon our request. And the curriculum committee met on Tuesday, September 19th, where Beth Shashikant will share a full report. Are there any questions?
DIBS for Kids, do they have to bring the books back, or are they theirs to keep?
They do. They bring them back. Yep. And it's really kind of super cute to watch them. I don't know if you remember that in their presentation. They like have this little badge and they just chime it, and then they pick out their own book, and it creates a lot of autonomy and responsibility, you know, and reading every night. That's good. It's good for them. So it's been fun.
Thank you, Beth.
Yep.
Next, we have 6.3, which is the student program report. Mrs. Lohr.
Thank you, Madam President. Elkhorn, Elkhorn Logan Valley Public Health Department is providing flu shots for our staff on October 3rd, 5th, and 10th. I will be attending the Nebraska Department of Education stakeholders meeting for results-driven accountability on October 17th in Lincoln. On November 2nd and 3rd, I will attend the Tri-State Special Education Law Conference with two of our Norfolk Public Schools principals. As we wrap up the first quarter of activities, I wanted to share that the Arrow stage lines continue to be continue to be good to work with, and any concerns have been addressed professionally. As of September 21st, our expenditures for Arrow stage lines were at $43,263. Are there any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. 6.4 is the student services report. Mr. Wilson.
Thank you, Madam President. The University of Nebraska Public Policy Center has completed a review of our District Emergency Operation Plan, the EOP, which was reapproved at last month's Board of Education meeting. I'm happy to report that our EOP met the necessary requirements and showed lots of improvements over our 2017 submission. I'd like to recognize the district safety team, Norfolk Fire and Rescue, Norfolk Police Department, and our local emergency manager who volunteered a lot of time and effort to help develop usable plans to ensure the safety of our students and staff. Also, this week marks the end of first quarter. I want to remind our NPS families that parent-teacher conferences begin next week. We want to encourage parents or guardians to attend those conferences, as some of the best educational outcomes can occur when the parent, guardian, the student, and the school are all working together towards graduation and preparing the students to pursue their goals for the future. Conference times are listed below.
You can have the Zoom option available for conferences, or is it just in person?
Most, I'd say probably 95% is going to be in person, but we still do have that option available. If there's some parents that can't make it in, they can schedule those with the individual buildings.
Thank you, Eric. 6.5 is Human Resources and Accreditation Report. Angie Bauman.
Thank you, Madam President. Today, Mr. Settles and I were at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln to participate in the UNL Education Career Fair. Next week, I will attend the Wayne State College Student Teacher Fair, and the following week, Mary Lure and I will participate in the Nebraska Educator Shortage Summit in Kearney. I am working to gain the interest of potential teachers to apply at MPS for teaching positions. Currently, we have 15 student teachers in our district for the fall. The requests have already started coming in for the spring of 2024 semester. I currently have 18 requests and have not heard from all colleges yet. The requests include placements in the areas of early childhood, elementary education, English, math, physical education, social science, skilled and technical sciences, and special education. Looks like physical education is listed twice. Although we do not yet know what openings we will have for the 24-25 school year, there are several requests in areas that were difficult for us to fill for this current school year, so that is encouraging.
Really encouraging, and best of luck grabbing these great teachers.
Thank you.
Do you think it has made a huge difference that we're paying our student teachers?
When I was looking at our numbers, so we had in the fall of 22, we had 9 student teachers, and we ended up hiring 3 of them, and they committed to us before we had put out that we were paying. And then in the spring, we had 22 student teachers, and we hired 7 of those. So we hired more than twice what we had previously. So we're definitely getting more student teachers, which then is giving us more opportunity to hire those. So hopefully that trend will continue.
Thank you, Angie. And 6.6 is the superintendent's report. Dr. Thompson.
Thank you. I have 2 topics this evening, and we'll start with October enrollment update. Our September 1st count had increased each year prior to the pandemic, but it showed a major decline during that pandemic year, but has then risen every year since until 2023. Last year's senior class was exceptionally large, 358 students compared to a 10-year average of 338 students. And this year's kindergarten class is slightly smaller than normal, 317 students compared to a 10-year average of 324. The difference between that senior class and this replacing kindergarten class is 41 students. That is actually larger than the overall difference in our enrollment. So I see no reason for concern. In fact, our October 1st enrollment increased by 18 students from September 1st, placing us at 4,537 students. My second topic is the negotiations process and timeline. Nebraska State Statutes 48-818.01 through 48-818.03 outline the negotiations or collective bargaining process that is to be used between public school districts and their approved collective bargaining unit for their certificated staff, so Norfolk Public Schools District and the Norfolk City Education Association. Mandatory negotiations topic include wages, salary schedule, base salary and extra duty pay, and fringe benefits, which includes insurance and leave provisions. Management prerogatives should not be negotiated. Those are to be determined by the administration and/or school board policy. Examples of management prerogatives include the teacher evaluation process, planning time, actual teacher assignments, the reduction in force policy, class sizes, curriculum, all those day-to-day things. During negotiations, each topic is compared to the prevalent practice of other schools within our array of similar-sized school districts. Last year, our array of schools included Norris, Gretna, Fremont, Hastings, Columbus, Kearney, Bennington, South Sioux City, Blair, and Ralston. This list is determined by size and geographical location. The standard that is utilized by the Commission of Industrial Relation, or CIR, is no more than twice as many or less than half of the students enrolled in the school district. Our comparability with these schools is determined annually by our attorneys, the Perry Law Firm. That comparability study outlines our position within our array as it relates to the midpoint and the 98 to 102% range that will be described later on. The negotiations process must begin on or before November 1st of each year, and we must hold no more than 4 negotiations meetings unless an agreement happens to be reached sooner. If an agreement has not been reached by February 8th, we must submit to mandatory mediation or fact-finding by a resolution officer. The resolution officer chooses the most reasonable final offer on each issue in dispute. If either the district or the collective bargaining unit is dissatisfied with the resolution officer's decision, then they have a right to file an action with the CIR. All negotiations, mediation, and fact-finding shall end on or before March 25th. If that has not occurred, then a petition to the CIR may be filed. When establishing wage ranges, the CIR determines whether the total compensation of the members falls within a 98% to a 102% range of the midpoint. In our array of 10 schools, the midpoint is the average of the 5th and the 6th school ranked from highest to lowest. If the total compensation falls within that 98 to 102% range, the CIR shall make no changes in wage rates. If the total compensation is less than 98% of the midpoint, the CIR shall increase rates to the 98% of the midpoint. If the total compensation is more than 102% of the midpoint, the CIR shall decrease wages to 102% of the midpoint. According to Board Policy 8152, our policy committee is made up of 2 board members who represent the board in the negotiations process. These board members receive general guidance from the board in executive session and then negotiate with the NCEA in good faith. When a tentative agreement has been reached between the board and the NCEA representatives, that agreement is taken to the full NCEA and the full Board of Education for votes. An agreement is not final until both sides have voted and the board has formally approved the agreement in a public board meeting. The superintendent and business manager or human resources director also participates in the negotiation process as a resource to the board representatives. The superintendent's administrative assistant keeps minutes of these meetings. So the abbreviated timeline is that we have to start our first meeting before November 1st. We have to have 4 meetings or a settlement by February 8th, or we submit to a resolution officer, and we must be completely done by March 25th, or we go to the Court of Industrial Relations. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Is the array always those same schools?
It can change slightly if we have a school that grows a lot, maybe in the metro area, they might pop out, but it stays fairly consistent.
And then we're looking at their most recent contract that all those schools have approved,
Yes, the
right?
Perry Law Firm gathers all of their negotiated agreements, salary schedules, everything, and puts that down into one number and then compares all 12, 13 schools based on that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Thompson. Okay, we are to committee reports. 7.1, Facilities and Finance Committee Report. Brenda Carhart.
press the button and it works. The people that were at the meeting was Dr. Jamie Jo Thompson, Eric Wilson, Mary Lure, Kellen Collins took the minutes, and then it was myself, Sandy Wolf, and also Terry Bauer were at the meeting. We got an update on the facilities. Junior high and Bel Air are about done. We're gonna have an open house for them. Junior high, open house on 10/23 and 10/30, end of the month. Junior high track is almost completed. Potential middle school addition renovation. Architects are completing the drawings and an RFP request board agenda for tonight. We are in HVAC issues with middle school and Woodland Park, so we may have to spend $20,000 at the Woodland Park and $60,000 at the middle school. We'll meet with architects for them. Trying to pull up my screen. Up, yeah. Transportation update, Aero Stage Line, like we talked about earlier, 51,000, that's a little bit more than we said earlier, was 45, but have spent 6 weeks of expenses through 9/30. Grant applications, we're gonna apply for a few grants to see if we can get a new route bus or a new sped bus. An insurance, next meeting in November, we'll have Agra City with RJ Gall and Insurance Associates with Scott Williams, and they'll come and talk about our renewal rates. And negotiations was just explained by Dr. Thompson, the process, and a lot of numbers that the negotiation team will go through. Tonight, we'll go into exec session and talk about set limits, additional parameters that the board will give the negotiation committee that they have to follow. Properties, we closed on the lot across the street from here, and also we're going to tear down the house on Walnut. Finance reports, we looked at all the bills, had questions on the October board bills, September bills. Claims of interest, this year we do have to pay for part of our Faith Regional for part of our trainers for our activities. We've got some conflict statements to read later, and our next meeting will be in November 13th at noon, and it was done in an hour. Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Brenda. 7.2 is the policy committee report, and Cindy Booth is going to be reporting on that.
Madam President, our policy committee meeting was held October 4th, 2023 at 8:30 a.m. in the NPS Central Administration Building. NPS staff present was Dr. Jamie Jo Thompson, Angie Bauman, and Callan Collins. No discussion on target-based grading since Lindsay was absent, and this will be discussed at the December meeting with the next section of policies. Policies reviewed were personnel, 4,000, policy 4,000 through 4,012. 4001 was recruitment and selection, 4002 equal opportunity employment, 4003 anti-discrimination and anti-harassment and anti-retaliation, 4003A notice of non-discrimination, 4003B complaint form, 4004 duty hours of employees, 4005 absence of employees, 4006 absence from building, 4007 family and medical leave policy, 4007A family and medical leave policy documents, 4008 adoption leave, 4009 drug and substance use and abuse with attached appendix, 4010 intellectual property and work for hire, 4011 bloodborne pathogen compliance plan, and 4012 infectious diseases. So we had discussion of these policies just so that the general public is aware. We do read these in great detail before we ever have our policy meetings, and then we discuss them in great detail as well. So discussion of policies, 4001, we didn't have any changes. We had discussion over board members participating in the hiring process of the administration. 4002, we had no changes. This follows federal and state law, and this policy is for personnel, not students. 4003, no changes. Dr. Thompson is confirming with the school attorney that this follows federal and state law per the committee's request. 4003A and 4003B revised and removed brackets, and then change business director wording to say director of human resources. So that was just a wording change. 4004 revised, change discharge to fulfillment. 4005, no changes. 4006, no changes. 4007, revised. We removed the word indicia and replaced it with distinguishing characteristic. It was just a little more clear. So again, that was all about wording. 4007A, no changes. 4008, no changes. 4009, revised. Add Norfolk to the name. We just inserted the name Norfolk there. Change associate superintendent to director human resources. Again, that was some wording. 4009 appendix, no changes. 4010 revised, add the word in. Again, just some little technical things as far as wording. 4011 revised, we changed superintendent to principal or designee. And 4012, no changes. Also reviewed were internal board policy 8152, standing committee on negotiations. 8152 revised, shall consist of 2 board members, changed to 3 board members rather than 2 on the negotiation committee. The first reading of policies at the board meeting on today, 10/9/2023, and the second reading of these policies will be at the board meeting on November 13th, 2023. We adjourned at 9:38 a.m. Any questions or comments?
Thank you, Cindy. 7.3 is Curriculum and American Civics Committee report. Beth Shashikant.
Thank you, Madam President. The Curriculum Committee and Civics Committee meeting was on September 19th at 9 o'clock here at the Central Office Building. American Civics and Curriculum Board members present were myself and Cindy Booth. Terry Bauer was absent. Also present at the meeting were NPS personnel, Beth Nelson, Jared Oswald, Nancy Probasco, Sherry Thielen, and Mickey Mueller. The Board of Education Curriculum and Civics Committee met at 9 o'clock on September 19th. The meeting began with a review of the American Civics Act LB 399. Mrs. Nelson explained the required activities and forms that are completed in order to remain in compliance with the law. A couple of the required senior high projects were made available for review as examples of the work that students complete. There were no new social studies curriculum items to discuss or approve at this time. A proposal for the JAG course at the senior high school was submitted for review. JAG Nebraska is supported by the United Way of the Midlands and gives youth the skills and training to succeed in school, employment, and life. A comprehensive list of course outcomes were shared with committee members and are also available as a handout for anyone interested in learning more about the JAG course. The purpose of the course is intended to empower students with personal and professional development skills and support to achieve success in high school graduation, further education, and employment following graduation. The course will be a year-long course and serves as an intensified version of the junior high career course. Many of the course concepts are taught in CTE courses, but not as explicitly as in this course. The JAG program will find and supply the instructor, and not until the 3rd year will NPS be required to contribute $10,000 towards the JAG program. Approval for this course is found within the agenda action items. Nancy Probasco, Sherry Thielen, and Jared Oswald shared with committee members the work that has been completed since the last committee meeting in the spring. Writing kindergarten through 4th grade, elementary media, math, and ELA are all subject areas that have had teacher leaders complete work. The committee reviewed the kindergarten through 6th grade iReady math pilot process. The entire process of selecting a new program has included comparing a variety of math products, teachers ranking the program compatibility with district needs and expectations, listening to program demonstrations, piloting the programs, and collecting the data from the pilot program. After 2.5 years of working and planning, the iReady math program still remains the favored math program and recommendation for purchase by teachers and the teaching and learning team. We can expect a quote and request for purchase next spring. Other purchase items that will be coming up this spring include Amplify Geometry, renewing the senior high Spanish materials, and a possible purchase for the 9th grade science.
Thank you, Beth. Okay, that takes us to our consent agenda. 8.1 is the minutes of the previous meeting on September 11th and September 28th. They are attached. 8.2 is personnel. We have no contract approvals. And 8.2, resignations. Dr. Thompson.
It is with regret that I share that we have 2 resignations this evening. Beth Nelson, Director of Teaching and Learning, is retiring at the end of the school year. And Ellie Wagner, Speech Language Pathologist, is resigning at the end of the year. Both of these positions will be hard to replace, and I appreciate their service very much. But I would like to especially thank Mrs. Nelson for her 11 years at Central Office. Under her guidance, we have increased the rigor and relevance of our curriculum and assessments across the district. We've created a teaching and assessment model, implemented multi-tier systems of support and interventions for all of our students, and ensured that our PLCs are focused on the creation and the delivery of high-quality curriculum assessment and instruction. I know that Mrs. Wilson is working very hard to ensure that processes are in place for a smooth transition and that her team is capable of carrying on, but we will miss her, and her accomplishments deserve recognition. So thank you.
Thank you. It's been a very rewarding opportunity to work with Norfolk Public, and there's just an amazing amount of teachers in this district, and they're just a lot of fun to work with, and it's been great challenge to work with them and just pursue higher rigor and goals for our kids. So thank you very much.
It has been great working with you, Beth. We came in together about the same time. I supported you. You've been awesome. I can't say it as good as Dr. Thompson because I don't know all those things you do. I just know you've done a great job. Thank you. And enjoy your retirement. And thank you, too, to Ellie. That's going to be a tough one to replace as well. Our claims, 8.3, Dr. Thompson.
Attached are the claims for the month of October 2023. These claims were reviewed earlier today by our Finance and Facilities Committee. There are 4 conflict statements this month that will need to be read before voting.
No, we got to do a motion. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Beth and a second by Lindsay. Is there conflict statements?
And start. Out of an abundance of caution, I hereby declare a potential conflict of interest and am abstaining from voting on Claim 175, which is payment to Carhart Lumber, for the month of October and consent agenda for this meeting. I have signed and filed this written disclosure with the Secretary of the Board. It is my intent to vote on all other remaining items listed on the consent agenda. My vote on the remainder of the consent items should not be taken as a vote one way or the other on the item which I have identified, or any of the matters set forth therein or related thereto.
Out of an abundance of caution, I hereby declare a potential conflict of interest and am abstaining from voting on claims number 442 and 444 for the month of October in the consent agenda for this meeting. I attended an NASB workshop. I have signed and filed this written disclosure with the Secretary of the Board. It is my intent to vote on all other remaining items listed on the consent agenda. My vote on the remainder of the consent items should not be taken as a vote one way or the other on the items which I have identified, or any of the matters set forth therein or related thereto.
Out of abundance of caution, I hereby declare a potential conflict of interest and may abstain from voting on claim number 108 for the month of October in the consent agenda for this meeting. I have signed and filed this written disclosure with the Secretary of the Board. It is my intent to vote on all of the remaining items listed on the consent agenda. My vote on the remainder of the consent items shall not be taken as a vote one way or the other of the other items which I have identified as the matter set forth herein or related to. I believe Bauer Underground supplied some materials.
Out of an abundance of caution, I hereby declare a potential conflict of interest, and I am abstaining from voting on claim number 441 and number 443 for the month of October in the consent agenda for this meeting. I have signed and filed this written disclosure with the Secretary of the Board. It is my intent to vote on all of the remaining items listed on the consent agenda. My vote on the remainder of the consent items should not be taken as a vote one way or the other on the items which I have identified or any of the matters set forth therein or related thereto, and my claims are also regarding attendance to the Nebraska School Board Association meeting.
Thank you. Please vote.
Motion carried 6-0.
Thank you, Callan. Action items 9.1, discuss, consider, and take action to approve the strategic action plan for communication. Mrs. Lure.
As we presented earlier this evening, we presented the action plan to meet our goal number 3 of our strategic action plan regarding communications with stakeholders. And I'm asking for your approval of our action plan.
I'll make a motion to approve the strategic action plan for communications.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Terry and a second by Lindsay. Is there any discussion?
Luck.
Thank you.
Please vote.
Motion carried 6-0.
Thank you, Callan. 9.2 is discuss, consider, and take action to grant permission to seek bids for the middle school addition and renovation. Dr. Thompson.
Thank you. We are seeking your permission to begin the bidding process for the middle school addition and renovation. This project includes the addition of a safe and secure entrance, the renovation of existing offices into classrooms, and the addition of new larger fine arts classrooms. It addresses safety and space concerns described previously. Most importantly, this entrance currently does not meet the same safety standards as other entrances across the district, as office personnel must utilize a camera system to determine if guests should be admitted into the building. In addition, this building currently serves approximately 100 more students than it did a decade ago, creating significant space issues. It is important to note that if the bids for this project come in higher than anticipated, the board does have the option to refuse all bids. This is important as our funding is limited.
I make a motion to grant permission to seek bids for the middle school addition and renovation.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion by Beth and a second by Terry. Is there discussion?
When we get these bids, because we've talked in the past about it costs so much to do it and then another part to finish out the second level, will the RFPs come in where we have that option to maybe do part of it at a later date, or what, was it just be one big bid or kind of separated?
There will be a base bid, and Eric, you might need to help me out with, there'll be a base bid, and then there will be an option to finish out the classrooms on the second floor for the fine arts classrooms. So we could do the entire project if we have enough money. If not, the upstairs could be finished at a later date.
And if everything comes in too high, as you said, we can just pass.
That is correct.
We're hopeful that everything's going to come in where we're planning.
When would the bids be back that we would know the numbers?
We're hoping RFP would go out here near the end of the month, and we could be looking at bids by end of November, probably, making a decision possibly at the December board meeting.
So the time frame on the RFP will be end of November?
We have to then finalize the blueprints yet, so we're meeting with the architect tomorrow. Once we have all the drawings, then we'll release the RFP. But we're getting permission tonight because we want to release it as soon as possible, which would hopefully be the end of the month.
Once we have architect's drawing, I can then send you a timeline for the actual RFP process. We don't know those dates until the architect gets finished.
How does that work exactly? Do you send out like requests to like specific companies, or do you kind of publish something that says, hey, we're looking for you know, somebody to send us a bid for this project?
And we'll post the RFP. It'll be published in the paper. We'll post it on our website with the architect's contact information. Contractors would contact them for copies of drawings and questions.
Thank you.
Okay, please vote.
Motion carried 6-0.
Thank you, Callan. 9.3 is discuss, consider, and take action to approve the addition of the Jobs for America Graduates, Nebraska, JAG-NE course at the senior high for 24-25. Mrs. Nelson.
Thank you. This course is to be taught as a part of the JAG program that the board approved last month. This is an elective 4-credit classroom program with an instruction provided by a certified CTE JAG career specialist. It teaches up to 87 desirable workplace competencies. The course is intended to empower students with personal and professional development skills and provide to achieve success in high school graduation, further education, and employment following the high school graduation. The primary learning concepts in the course are career development, job attainment, job survival, basic skills, leadership and self-development, personal skills, life survival, workplace competencies, and economic empowerment. Also, as mentioned in Beth's report, if anybody would like to see the full list of all of the objectives, I have those. I can have them sent to you.
I am personally excited about the implementation of this program, as the courses provide instruction and reinforcement of the soft skills that we have been told are sought by our local employers. And it has been promoted by both Senator Ricketts and Governor Pillen as a way to address workforce shortage that is prevalent within our community and our state.
They were in last month talking to us, presenting this. Yeah, I thought it was a great program.
I'll make a motion to approve the addition of the Jobs for America's Graduates Nebraska course at the senior high for 2024-2025 school year.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion by Beth and a second by Cindy. Is there any further discussion?
I just wanted to make sure, my understanding was that after the 2 years that they're providing this for no cost, then will we have to vote on it again after that point? Or how does that work because then that cost is going to come into play?
It would not require further approval, as the cost would only be $10,000 a year. That is below the limit set by the board. And we do have funding available set aside within the foundation for career-related items that would be ample to cover this for many years to come.
Okay, thank you.
The school can decide, though, like if you don't think the program is working, that we don't have to follow. We're not required to follow through with it if you don't.
Absolutely. It's on a 1-year contract and renewed every year. So if for whatever reason we're not satisfied with the outcomes or the performance, we could decide not to continue it moving forward.
Okay, please vote.
Motion carried 6-0.
Thank you, Callan. 9.4, discuss, consider, and take action to approve the Norfolk City Education Association as exclusive bargaining agent for non-supervisory certificated employees for the 2025-2026 school year. Dr. Thompson.
Thank you. The state statutes that I discussed earlier this evening also require that we approve the collective bargaining agent a whole year in advance. So we have received a formal written request by the NCEA or Norfolk City Educational Association to be recognized as the exclusive collective bargaining agent for non-supervisory certificated staff. This action is required each year by state statute. We have not received any other requests, therefore I am recommending that this request is approved.
I'll make a motion to approve the Norfolk City Education Association as exclusive bargaining agent for the non-supervisory certificated employees for the 2025-26 school year.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion by Brenda and a second by Beth. Is there discussion? Please vote.
Motion carried 6-0.
Thank you, Callan. 9.5 is discuss, consider, and take action to approve the 2024-2025 option enrollment capacities. Capacities, Dr. Thompson.
Thank you. According to state statute, public schools must adopt an option enrollment resolution annually, setting grade and program capacities and indicating which grade levels and programs are open for option enrollment students based upon those capacities and projected enrollments. For the 2024-2025 school year, our projections indicate that we will be at capacity in grades 10 and 12. The grades that we will be accepting option enrollment students in next year are kindergarten through 9th and 11th grade. You can see the attached appendix for the number of option students that will be accepted at each grade level.
Once we set this, even if we get an influx of students, we cannot change this?
Well, it's by capacity, so say we had a huge influx at the first grade, once it hits 336 students, then it becomes closed.
Okay.
So 10th and 12th are closed now based on our projections. These others could become closed if they hit that capacity number later on.
I would make a motion to approve the 2024-2025 option enrollment capacities.
We have a motion by Cindy and a second by Lindsay. Is there any further discussion? Please vote.
Motion carried 6-0.
Thank you, Callan. 9.6, discuss, consider, and take action to approve the 2023-2024 NASB Delegate Representative. Dr. Thompson.
Thank you. The Nebraska Association of School Boards Delegate Representative attends the NASB Delegate Assembly November 7th to help determine the NASB's annual legislative and leadership agenda. This meeting occurs annually at the NASB State Education Conference. Brenda Carhart and Beth Shashikant are both planning to attend the conference, so I would recommend that one of them is appointed to serve as your representative.
I make a motion to approve Beth Shashikant as the 2023 NASB Delegate Representative.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve Brenda Carhart as the 2023
yeah.
NASB Delegate Representative.
Yeah, you can't do that. We have
We
a
can
motion
only-
on the floor.
Oh.
So it has to be seconded and voted on. Good try, Lindsay. In my parliamentary procedure. No, we need a
I can
second.
second that then.
Okay, thank you, Lindsay. Okay, so we have a motion by Brenda and a second by Lindsay. Is there discussion? I've done this before. It's really fun. The only thing is you have to get up early in the morning and get there. You have to read a bunch of stuff which you'll love, and then you kind of talk to people. And
The reason I recommended Beth is because I did it last year. I went to NSA and did this, was representative last year, and I just thought Beth should have the opportunity this year.
it's great fun.
Good learning experience.
I would look forward to it.
Please vote.
Motion carried 6-0.
Thank you, Callan. 9.7, discuss, consider, and take action to approve the first reading of Board Policies 4001 through 4012 related to personnel. Dr. Thompson.
Thank you. These policies were discussed during the Policy Committee report made by Cindy Booth. I would be happy to answer any additional questions that you have. I'm going to refrain from reading all the policies because Cindy read them earlier this evening.
Make a motion to approve the first reading of Board Policies 4001 through 4012 related to personnel.
Second that motion.
We have a motion by Brenda and a second by Cindy. Is there any discussion? Please vote.
Motion carried 6-0.
Thank you, Callan. 9.8, discuss, consider, and take action to approve the first reading of Board Policy 8152, Standing Committee on Negotiations. Dr. Thompson.
Thank you. This policy was discussed during the Policy Committee report earlier this evening as well. I would be happy to answer any additional questions that you may have. Brenda, I think you recommended this change, so if you want to maybe share your rationale, that would be good.
I asked that this policy be brought forward. Right now, we currently have 2 people on our negotiations committee with the teachers, but I asked that there be 3 because 83% of our budget is staffing and salaries. So I thought with that big a number of our budget, we needed more people involved. Right now on the negotiations committee is Sandy Wolf and Beth Shashikant. So I thought it would be nice if we would include one of the new members on the committee also, so they could learn and have another voice at the negotiations committee. So that was my rationale, and that's my hope, is that someone from the new 3 will join the committee.
I think it's also the only committee that doesn't have 3 people, is that right?
That is correct, and I'm not sure why it was 2. They've had a negotiations committee forever, and it was probably one of the first that was established.
The Award of Excellence only has 1. That may be one we might want to think about at some point.
Well, the Award of Excellence and the Wellness Committee, and there's one other, are actually like district committees that have other staff members, and we just have a board representative. Oh, the foundation. There's a representative from the board. So those 3 committees, you're just a representative on there, whereas these are actual board committees.
Thank you for that clarification. I don't think we have a motion yet.
I'll make a motion to approve the first reading of Board Policy 8152, the Standing Committee on Negotiations.
And I'll second the motion.
We have a motion by Beth and a second by Brenda. Is there any further discussion?
We said earlier too in the policy committee that the new member can't join until after the second reading, so the new member to the committee may miss like the first meeting with negotiations, but then we'll catch up as soon as we approve it in November.
Okay, thank you, Brenda. Please vote.
Motion carried 6-0.
Thank you, Callan. My apologies. I had really planned to have a break, and all of a sudden we're done. So I would like to tell you that future meetings are the second monthly meeting of the Board of Education has been scheduled for noon on Thursday, October 26, 2023. The next regular meeting of the Board of Education will be held on Monday, November 13th, 2023. The regular business meeting will begin at 5:30 p.m. All components of these meetings will be held right here at the Norfolk Public Schools Central Administration Offices and will be open to the public unless an executive session is needed in order to protect the interest of the district or the reputation of an individual. With that being said, we do need to go into executive session to discuss negotiations and litigation as needed to protect the interest of the district. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to convene executive session to discuss negotiations and litigation as needed to protect the interest of the district.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion by Beth and a second by Brenda. Any discussion? Please vote.
Motion carried 6-0.
Thank you, Callan.
I do not anticipate that we will take action on either one of these items this evening.
Thank you for coming and thank you for speaking.